Welcome back to Talk Tottenham. In this video, we look at Spurs' summer signings so far, so let's get into it. First through the door was Ivan Perisic on a free transfer from Inter Milan. Age certainly hasn't slowed down the 33-year-old Croatian international. This was evident in his man-of-the-match performance in which he scored twice in the Coppa Italia Cup final in May, in a game won in extra time. The left wing-back will add goals, assists and experience to the side. He knows exactly what it takes to play for Antonio Conte, the manager converting him into a wing-back from his previous roles as an attacker. Perisic will be able to help nurture the young wing-backs at the club, with Ryan Sessegnon already complementing the advice that the Croatian has given him. In a season where Spurs are rejoining the elite in the Champions League, it can't be a bad thing, welcoming a former Champions League winner and in all, a serial winner into their ranks. With Perisic being one of the few footballers as two-footed as Son, even taking set pieces off both feet, his versatility across both wing-back roles and across the front three positions might come in handy if injuries and fatigue hit this season. He could be a decisive player on and off the pitch. The second player, in Fraser Forster, came from Southampton and was another free transfer, something Spurs football director Fabio Paratici earned a reputation for back at Juventus, and that has continued in North London. The 34-year-old English goalie will act as understudy to club captain Hugo Lloris. He has already endeared himself to Spurs fans as one of his best performances for the Saints last season came up against Spurs' rivals Arsenal. His huge performance was the difference between victory and defeat for the Gunners that day, and may have been the difference between Champions League and Europa League qualification for Spurs and Arsenal. He will help Spurs fulfil their homegrown quota and could be an able deputy as well as an experienced member of the squad. The third incoming was Yves Bissouma from Brighton. The 25-year-old was signed for a cut price £25 million due to only having 1 year left on his contract and Brighton wanting to avoid losing him for free next summer. The Mali international will be expected to hit the ground running from the off. Spurs fans will have high hopes for the central midfielder after putting in two dominating displays at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last season, once in Brighton's FA Cup defeat and the other in their 1-0 Premier League victory. In both matches he was the outstanding midfielder on the pitch, with Spurs' engine room struggling to cope with his intensity, aggression and control. In Spurs' home Premier League defeat to Brighton, one startling aspect of the match was how quiet Tottenham's attack was, despite winning their previous two matches by 4 goals. Harry Kane, who had been the team's hub of creativity by dropping deep to get on the ball, could not get hold of the ball, with no outfield player who played the full match having less touches. Bissouma was key to this, playing as the single pivot in the midfield three, almost man-marking Kane out of the match whenever he moved out of the jurisdiction of the Brighton back three. Bissouma excelled in Brighton's big matches last season. In a hotly contested midfield at Spurs, he could be the man that Bentancur, Højbjerg and Skip are battling to play alongside. Signing number 4 really came out of the blue, not just because he arrived from Everton, but with the deal progressing so quickly. Spurs paid £50 million for the Brazilian, rising to £60 million with add-ons. In Richarlison, Spurs hope to have finally found someone, other than Kane and Son, that can play as a number 9 with real distinction, and to let the England captain rest and rotate when necessary. Harry Kane has always been a menacing figure to any Spurs centre-forward target. Former Spurs manager Mauricio Pochettino frequently stated that it was difficult to find a striker willing to join the club because they simply didn't want to battle with Harry Kane for game time. He gave Alvaro Morata as an example of a player who wouldn't join for this reason. Conte has bullishly stated this summer that all players must be willing to compete and the players on the bench must not have a drop in level from the team on the pitch. Richarlison is perfect for Spurs in this aspect. He is currently Brazil's first choice number 9, and at Everton he played mostly on the left of the attack, but also as the main striker and from the right. Richie will of course want to secure a starting berth, and his best chance of this would be to try and take Kulusevski's spot on the right of the front three, as Richarlison's main 2 positions are blocked by Spurs star pair Kane and Son. Richarlison has the tenacity and personality to fit into an Antonio Conte team. He has already integrated well with the personalities within the squad, and with 5 subs this season, he provides Conte the option of bringing a star forward off the bench, or the luxury to rotate his front line with more confidence. Spurs' 5th signing was Clement Lenglet. He is signed on a 1-year loan deal from Barcelona without the option to buy. He is a 27-year-old French centre-back. This has been the least exciting outfield signing the club has made in the window so far. The top 2 centre-back targets, Bastoni and Gvardiol, have so far proved near impossible to obtain, so Spurs have moved early to secure the experienced Frenchman as an option at the back. The more you look into this move, the more it does make sense though. Spurs lacked experienced depth at centre-half last season, and with 15 caps for France and having played 42 times in the Champions League, Lenglet certainly doesn't lack experience. He also has a long-standing relationship with his national team captain, and now his club captain, Hugo Lloris, which can only help him settle more quickly. He's left-footed and very comfortable on the ball, making him able to play both the left and central centre-back positions. Last season, Ben Davies was the only left-footed centre-back available to Conte. Spurs' only real concern will be how Lenglet will perform defensively this season, but there are not many coaches that can improve defenders like Conte can, as shown by the improved performances of Eric Dyer and Ben Davies last season. The 1-year loan deal means there is little risk involved for Spurs. If Spurs can get the best out of Lenglet, then Spurs can go back to Barcelona next summer and try to negotiate a permanent transfer. And if it doesn't work out, then Spurs have no further commitments to the player after the season. And it is next summer where Spurs are hoping they might finally be able to land one of their top centre-half targets, if it's still not possible later in this window. Tottenham's 6th signing, yes, 6th signing, before the first competitive match of the season, was Jed Spence. He was signed for £12.5 million, rising to £20 million with add-ons, from his parent club Middlesbrough, although last season he was playing for Nottingham Forest on loan. The 21-year-old England under-21 international played last season as a right wing-back and will be hoping to claim a starting spot there for Spurs 2 this season. Good friends with fellow wing-back Ryan Sessegnon since their playing days together at Fulham, and still playing together at England under-21s, Sessegnon has already been helping him integrate into the first team squad. This transfer was a bit different to the ones that came before. This was very much a club-led signing that was of course still approved by Antonio Conte. This was a deal that was more similar to the signings that Spurs used to make with such regularity and success in the past. Spurs used to identify younger British players like Michael Dawson, Michael Carrick, Dele Alli, Aaron Lennon, Jermaine Defoe, to just name a few. Spurs made a habit of signing players with high potential, often from lower league clubs, and growing them into valuable first-team players. Jed Spence himself had an incredible season, helping Nottingham Forest gain promotion to the Premier League. His driving runs, ability to dribble past his opponent, and his end product really shone. These skills will need to be shown at a higher level this season, as Conte expects his wing-backs to not only be solid defensively, but to make the difference in the final third too. But why was such a hot talent loaned out by Middlesbrough to a fellow Championship club? Neil Warnock, the club's manager at the time, had a falling out with Spence and sent him out on loan.
he told the player that he'd either end up playing in the non-league or the Premier League. I don't think he expected Spence to prove him wrong, or right, quite so quickly. Jed Spence himself doesn't seem to lack confidence, proving his former manager wrong to let him go out on loan, and with a few witty remarks on social media about it too. Under Conte, he will have a manager that believes in him, as he did at Forest in his loan spell. It's now up to Spence himself to learn all he can from his coaching staff and his more experienced teammates. With a relatively low fee, this signing again is low risk. It helps Spurs fulfill their homegrown quotas and has the potential to be a huge bargain if Spence can fulfill his potential. So far this summer, Spurs have spent £87.5 million on transfer fees, with a further $17.5 million in potential add-ons. With more incomings still expected, it could be an exciting season ahead. Thanks for watching Talk Tottenham. Please like, subscribe and turn on those notifications for more upcoming content.